Welcome to today's explainer. We hear so much noise out there about wealth building, but today we're stripping away all that generic advice to look strictly at the data. We are about to dive into a data-backed self-assessment of your financial habits. We're going to use some hard, undeniable statistics to pinpoint the specific behaviors that separate the people who are thriving from the ones who are just struggling to get by. So, let's get right into it.
Section 1, the dinner table reality. Okay, let's dive into this. I want you to imagine sitting at a dinner table with 9 other people, right? It could be a family reunion, maybe just a gathering with some coworkers. Well, the stark reality is that 9 out of the 10 people at that table with you are statistically struggling with money, often in ways they don't even fully understand yet. They are, essentially, one unexpected bill away from total financial chaos. But one of them, just one, is quietly winning, steadily compounding their way to a completely different life. Which brings us to a really uncomfortable question. Are you that one person? Or, do you just kind of think you are? The gap between being average and being above average with money, it isn't about your salary, it's not about luck, and it's certainly not about where you were born. It's about a very specific set of behaviors and benchmarks. Today, we're going over 10 statistical signs that prove you are genuinely above average. Section 2, the financial baseline. Let's look at the foundational steps. All right, let's dive into sign number 1. According to a recent survey by Bankrate, an absolutely astonishing 57% of Americans cannot cover a $1,000 emergency expense from their savings. Think about that for a second. If the car's transmission blows or the furnace just completely dies in the middle of winter, more than half the population is immediately forced to reach for a credit card. That means the bar for being above average is strikingly, almost unbelievably low. Literally, $1,000. Having the equivalent of what? A mid-tier smartphone sitting in a savings account actually puts you ahead of the majority. The average person's relationship with money genuinely is that fragile. So if you've got 3 to 6 months saved up, you're not just above average, you're in the absolute top tier of preparedness. Moving on to sign number 2, investing way before you feel ready. Right now, only 58% of American families hold any investment assets at all. And yeah, that includes retirement accounts. Worse than that, the average American doesn't begin seriously investing until their late 30s. Telling yourself, oh, I'll invest when I have more money, is a remarkably expensive trap. The truth is, the habit of investing early matters so much more than the initial amount. Simply starting that habit is what separates the wealth builders from the wealth watchers. Now for sign number 3. Quick question. Can you state your net worth to the nearest thousand right now without Googling how to calculate it? If you can, you're in rare company. The Federal Reserve actually sets median net worth benchmarks by age. For example, it's roughly $39,000 for those under 35 and bumps up to $135,000 for folks between 35 and 44. People who build real wealth treat these numbers like a scoreboard. They track them, actively using these benchmarks to figure out if their financial moves are actually helping or hurting their progress. Section 3, escaping the average trap. It's time to talk about active defense and offense. Sign number 4 is all about avoiding lifestyle inflation. Listen, there is a massive difference between keeping up with the Joneses, upgrading the apartment, buying the brand new car, financing literally everything the second your income goes up, and what we call intentional lifestyle design. The dirty little secret is that the Joneses, they're usually broke. True wealth builders make sure their savings percentage actually grows alongside their income. Letting your wealth grow faster than your ego is a crucial predictor of long-term success. Sign number 5 is about multiple streams of income. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is this single number, 7. According to IRS statistics, the average millionaire has 7 distinct streams of income. Meanwhile, the vast majority of adults have one single point of failure, their primary job. If you have any secondary income, whether it's a side hustle, freelance work, or even dividend payments, you are building financial optionality. And that is exactly what true financial freedom looks like in the making. Sign number 6 shifts our focus to credit cards. Experian data reveals an absolutely staggering figure, $7,951. That is the average credit card debt carried by American households right now. Credit cards make the banks billions of dollars off the middle class, and it's almost entirely because of how easily they're misused. And here is the crushing 1-2 punch. The average interest rate on that debt is over 21%. That means families are permanently losing over $1,600 a year just to interest alone. Poof, gone.
But if you are a disciplined user who leverages credit cards for points and purchase protection, and you pay your balance off in full every single month, you're quite literally getting paid to spend money you are going to spend anyway.
Section 4, the wealth builder's mindset. Let's look at the psychology behind the money. Sign number 7 is prioritizing Robert Kiyosaki's core framework of assets over liabilities. So many people trick themselves into believing depreciating liabilities, like fancy cars or high-end electronics, are assets. They aren't. A car takes money out of your pocket. True wealth builders are relentlessly acquiring things that earn for them while they sleep. If you're actively prioritizing things like index funds, dividend stocks, or rental properties over things that constantly drain your cash flow, you are operating far, far above average. Sign number 8. You don't use YOLO as a financial strategy. Seriously, we have this entire cultural movement that dresses up poor financial decisions as freedom. You only live once, right? But justifying constant spontaneity is a remarkably efficient one-way ticket to absolutely zero retirement savings. There is a massive difference between spending on experiences that genuinely matter and just making impulsive decisions that actively sabotage your future self. Okay, sign number 9 is automation. Behavioral economics proves time and time again that willpower is just a terrible strategy. Every single time you have to manually transfer money to savings, you're fighting advertising, social pressure, and decision fatigue. It's exhausting. The highest form of financial discipline isn't trying harder. It's simply setting up an automated system that runs completely in the background. If you pay yourself first automatically, you've hacked one of the hardest behavioral problems in finance. Section 5, the ultimate multiplier. This is the glue that holds it all together. Sign number 10 is actively investing in your financial education. Nobody, and I mean nobody, stumbles into a deep understanding of interest rates, inflation, or diversification by accident. These are foundational concepts that have to be actively sought out and learned. Study after study shows a large majority of adults completely fail basic financial literacy tests. But the time you spend really understanding the rules of compound growth, that yields a lifelong return on investment that most people miss entirely. Section 6, where do you stand? All right, it is time to tally up those results. Let's walk through the scoreboard. If your score landed between 0 and 3, hey, you have significant work to do, but every single sign here is learnable. Don't panic. If you scored 4 to 6, you're in the mix, you're gaining momentum, identify your gaps, and set some firm deadlines to fix them. If you hit 7 to 9, congratulations, you are genuinely above average, sitting comfortably in the top percentile. And if you scored a perfect 10, you're operating at an elite level. Keep compounding and keep learning. So, the crucial point is this. True wealth is really just a set of small, consistent decisions made over a long period of time. Getting ahead is almost never an intelligence test, and honestly, it's rarely about luck. It's about aligning your daily behavior with your long-term interests. It's that automated transfer you set up on a random Tuesday and the lifestyle inflation you consciously choose to just ignore. To wrap up our explainer today, I want to leave you with a provocative thought. Be honest with yourself. How many signs did you actually hit? Take a hard, honest look at your score. Identify what your personal financial wake-up call is today, and take action. The math of building wealth will always do the rest once you get the behavior right. So will you be the one quietly compounding your way to freedom, or will you just blend in with the 9? Thanks for exploring this with me today, and keep learning.